Welcome back, everyone, to this special edition of Make Your Point. I'm Avin here with my varsity water polo goalie co-host, Zach Roisman. And today we have a very special guest joining us. I know we haven't actually been able to have a real episode in a while because we've been on a little bit of a break, but there has been some major sports news going on. And it's actually been pretty hectic. But today we're going back and doing another interview with a very special guest. Zach?
Yes, we are. He played football for the University of Florida before spending 3 seasons in the NFL, 1 season in the XFL, and then coaching for the University of Florida for 15 years. And then, then moving to the University of South Carolina, coaching there for 2 years. And he now is a coach at a high school in Gainesville. So please, everyone, give a very warm welcome to Mr. Mark Campbell.
So, Mr. Campbell, thank you so much for being our second official interview on Make Your Point. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Appreciate it.
So a little backstory. So I know you were born in Jamaica, but you went to high school down here in Miami, and then you went to UF and ultimately to the NFL. So what got you into football at such a young age? Because I also read that you were actually a big soccer player growing up too.
Yeah. Yes, I was a soccer player. And when I was in Jamaica, the first time I ever saw the game of football was when the Chicago Bears, I guess, played in the Super Bowl in 1985. And at that time, I said I would never play that game. It's too violent. Well, I moved to the States back in 1987. In 87, I moved to the States. And a friend of mine in high school, Mike Parker, I think his name was, Mike Parker, talked me into coming out and trying out for football. So when I did, I did go out and try out, and the first day was a funny day. I couldn't even get dressed. The only pads I knew where they went was the shoulder pads, which was kind of obvious. Mm-hmm. And then I just got introduced to the game through those guys by dressing me and going out there and telling me what to do. The good thing, one of the benefits that I had from playing soccer and now playing American football was that there was a lot of footwork involved, and I had that naturally from playing soccer. Mm-hmm. So that made the transition a little bit easy. Like I said, the benefit, what helped me a lot was playing soccer and helping with footwork with playing American football. So that was a good, transition over to help me to become somewhat a good, high school player, become a college player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it obviously worked out pretty well. You ended up going to UF, and then you got to play under one of the most decorated, coaches in Gator and college football history, Steve Spurrier. What was your time with him like, and how did he prepare you for the rest of your football career?
I mean, it was fun. The thing about playing for Coach Spurrier was he gave you a lot of confidence. You believed in what you were doing. You believed that you were a winner and that you were going to win every game, every weekend, mm-hmm. And losing wasn't an option. Now, of course, we lost a couple of games, but we never went into a game thinking that, we might lose. Right. No, every game we went into was to dominate our opponent. Mm-hmm. And he was a fun coach to be around, man. It was a fun coach. That might be my most fun time in my life, being a college athlete.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like fun for sure.
Yeah, a lot of experiences. You make some friendships that last forever,
Right, of course.
Collegiate level and then professional level, you meet a lot of people, and it took me to a lot of places that I never thought I'd ever go. I never thought I'd ever go to Mexico. I never thought I'd ever go to Hawaii, but football brought me to those places,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so after college and that great experience you talk about, you went to the NFL and you were drafted by the Broncos and then the Cardinals and the Colts. Can you just tell us a little bit about your NFL experience? Obviously, you said it already. It took you to some places you never went before, but what was being in the NFL like?
Yeah, I was blessed to be in the NFL, experience some good things, but by no means it wasn't a career to brag about because I wasn't there long enough and I didn't play enough, it's a tough league. It's a tough business. And there's a lot of good college football players, which I think I was one of them, but to make that transition over, not everybody is as successful. And I was one of them that not as successful on that level, but I got the experience, and I'm blessed to say that I have gotten the experience. I went to the Denver Broncos, where I was on a team with one of the NFL legends, John Elway. And that was a special moment. I remember just looking at him in practice when he came into the building, man. I'm like, man, I used to watch this guy on TV, you know what I mean? And here I am standing on the same team and on the same field with him. It was special, you know, and I appreciated that. So I might not have played as much and played the way I wanted to, but the experience of just being there, being drafted, and getting that experience, man, is something to cherish, you know?
Of course.
For sure.
And I mean, when people think of football and football leagues, people usually, the NFL is the first that comes to mind. But recently, other leagues have tried to make it work, namely the XFL. And you actually played for a season when the XFL started back in 2001. So would you be able to tell us a little bit about what that season was like?
Well, that was, the XFL was different. You know, there was the XFL is more like guys who were not ready to give up football yet. And that was an opportunity that was created by Jim McMahon for the WWF. But the thing about it is that football is football. And, you know, people want to see the real thing, you know. And it was a good trial at that time, you know, to keep those who want to stay involved in football, be in football. But at the end of the day, it's all about the NFL. Everybody wants to see the best of the best all the time, you know what I mean? So, but the only... It's not even really. It's like you could almost say that the XFL was more of a developmental league than anything. You know, a guy who tries to play and get some more attention, get some film to get back into the NFL.
Right.
You know, everybody knows that's where the money is. You know, so that's where you ultimately would want to be. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was back in 2001. But then I know you went straight back to UF right after that, and you became a coach there, the strength and conditioning coach at UF. So what was it like to kind of be on the coaching side of, you know, the team that you actually once played for, and just making that transition from, you know, right away being a player to a coach on the sideline?
Well, that's a good question. After being in college, being a college athlete, you kind of know the things that how you would like your coaches to treat you. You know the conversation that you would have liked to have had with a coach that understands exactly where you're coming from. So I took on that persona when I was blessed to get that job at Florida, and I happened to work there for 15 years. And I was blessed to get that job in Florida, so I could use the same things that I would have liked for myself as an athlete that I would utilize and give to those athletes that are there then.
Right.
So there was, you know, so it was an easy transition for me because I kind of knew a lot of the things that I would have liked. And you know, you tend to what you learn is when you become a strength coach, you know, or any coach really, if you truly, the number one thing is you have to care about the players. Once they feel like you care, then they'll open up to you and share things with you that, you know, you would never have never gotten if you didn't show them that you care.
Right.
As a strength coach in college, man, you're labeled as, your job title is a strength coach, but there's so much more that goes along with it. You're a counselor, advisor, mom, dad, brother, sister, teacher. You're everything, all in one, because we see them every day, in season, out of season. We see them every day. Football coaches who actually coach a position don't see them every day. Strength coaches see them every single day.
Right.
You know?
So yeah, it's like a unique bond there for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
And so while you were coaching at UF, you got to be with some very accomplished head coaches like Urban Meyer, Jim McElwain, and Will Muschamp twice at UF and South Carolina, where you are now. But what was the difference in leadership, coaching style kind of between all of them? And was there anything you took away and used in your own coaching style?
Oh yeah, like all of them had a unique thing about them. Obviously, you know, the ones that stand out to me mostly is the one that there's a couple, all of them stand out, to be honest with you. But I must give, you know, respect to the one, you know, Coach Zook hired me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I started with Coach Zook, and I was there and I worked under him for a while. And then Coach Meyer came in after that, and I learned a lot under him. He was a psychological guy. You know what I'm saying? He was a great motivator. You know, that, you know, knew exactly what to say, when to say, how to say it, you know. And then Coach McElwain comes in after that. And then Muschamp came in after that. You know, and Muschamp was a football coach, a really good guy, man, knew was a great recruiter, had qualities there, man. There was something that I took from each and every one of them. You know what I mean? It's hard to pinpoint every single, but to be a head coach, man, there's a lot of things that carry over between all of them. You know what I mean? And some do things a little differently than others. That you could almost say that is the reason why they're so much more successful than others. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I know you just spoke a little bit about Urban Meyer already, but some big news has happened in the past month or so. There were some rumors floating around about he's going to come out of retirement. Is he going to go back to college or go to the NFL? And we haven't actually done a real episode of Make Your Point in a while. We've taken a little break. And he in that time, he was hired as the new head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I know there's a lot of noise about whether he's going to be good in the NFL or not. But I want to ask you, someone who got to see him firsthand, how is Coach Meyer going to do in the NFL?
Well, one thing I can tell you that Coach Meyer is a really, really intelligent and smart coach. Before he even took that job, he did his research. And he gets deep in his research to figure out the do's and don'ts, the pros and cons of being a head coach in the NFL. Trust me. Everything, you just look at his track record. It is hard for you to think that he won't be successful. I know it's on a professional level, but it's hard for you to think that he won't be successful. He went to Bowling Green where they weren't winning and turned them around instantly. Goes to Utah, turns them around instantly. Comes to Florida, gets us on track instantly. Goes to Ohio State, gets them on track instantly. So it's hard for me to sit here and not think that he's going to be successful on that next level when his track record has proven that he is successful and he knows what it takes to be a head coach. Now, everybody's going to say, well, there's a difference between working with grown men and working with college athletes or young people. Well, absolutely. That's why I started by saying he's a very intelligent and smart coach. He has done his research. He knows exactly how he has to go in and do what he needs to do to be successful. There's no doubt in my mind.
Awesome.
One quick question, last question here before we go. We're big Gator fans, obviously, to see Gator shirt, and you worked there for a long time, and you played there. So can you just tell some of the how there any crazy stories you had while you were there that happened with the football team, or who are some of the best players that you've actually got to coach and work out with? Because like you said, you get to see them every day and improve throughout the years that they're playing college football there.
Well, I tell you what, man, I really, there's no one person. Like I said, you create some bonds and some friendships that you're going to hold on to for life. It's just a fun time. It's just a fun time in life going through college with and playing a sport. You cherish every moment. The locker room is the most fun part of being a college athlete. The camaraderie within that locker room that only the people in that locker room knows about and knows the fun that you had in that room. There's a ton of stories. It's hard for me to choose one, you know what I mean? But I just know that it's a special time, and even just the college experience. Let's forget even playing football. Just the college experience alone is something special that you should, if you can afford to do it, man, experience it. It's fun.
So I think that might be it. So thank you so much for coming. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and we definitely learned a lot, and I hope our viewers did too.
Okay. Yeah. No problem, man. I appreciate it. Tell your pops and everybody I said hello.
I will.
Yeah. So for everyone watching, thank you, Mr.
Oh,
Campbell,
let me correct something. So I worked at Florida for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to South Carolina for 2. I'm not at South Carolina anymore. I'm now back in Gainesville I work at a high school with 2 of my teammates right now.
Oh, congratulations.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah, awesome. That sounds awesome.
Okay, no problem.
Well, you've definitely had so many great experiences, and hopefully some of the kids that you're with now will be able to you'll be able to help them and succeed in high school and let them go on with the rest of their football careers. For everyone watching, make sure you subscribe to this channel and like the video and follow us on all our social medias. Mr. Campbell, thank you again for coming, and we'll see you next time.
No problem. Thank you, man.
Apologies to our dear friend Shaquille O'Neal. Sorry we couldn't get you on the show this time, man, but we will try next week.
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.
And remember the golden rule.